This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue, and I am Ashma Oba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. In response to the death of the 69 children, President Barrow has instructed the Gambia Police Force, and a panel has been set up to investigate the deadly scandal linked to the Indian-made cough syrup. Activists and the family members of victims who died due to the acute kidney injury, which claimed the lives of 69 children in the Gambia, held a candlelight vigil calling for the prosecution of those responsible. Gambia Mental Health Organization and partners have called on government and communities to collaborate to fight the injustices faced by the mentally challenged people during the commemoration of World Health Day. Residents of Igbo Town and drivers who operate in the area have called on authorities and to help improve drainage and the bad state of their roads. In sports news, the Gambia National Olympic Committee commenced a 5-day training session for president and secretaries of National Sports Association in the Gambia. Those were main headlines. Now the news in detail. In response to the death of the 69 Gambian children linked to the Indian-made cough syrup, President Barrow gave an assurance to leave no stone unturned, following which the Gambia Police Force has set up a panel to investigate the deadly scandal. More in this report.
Raised after the World Health Organization issued an alert on the deaths of dozens of Gambian children linked to contaminated cough and cold syrups produced by an Indian company, Maiden Pharmaceuticals Limited. The tragedy made headlines around the world and raised numerous questions, leading to a range of actions and responses from the government and various agencies. Actions include suspension of the sales of 4 brands of paracetamol syrup by the Gambian government, all of which were manufactured in India. The medicines were recalled from all households and pharmacies. QTV also conducted a vox pop to gauge the opinion of Gambians. On Saturday, President Adama Barrow addressed the nation, where he stated the matter was under control and praised the work of the Health Ministry in preventing further deaths. Meanwhile, the Gambia Police Force, in a statement, said they are setting up an investigation panel consisting of senior police officers. They have said they are doing this as part of, and I quote, their responsibility for internal security and the protection of lives and property, end of quote. The police report goes on to say the panel will identify and hold accountable those responsible. We were unable to speak to anyone from the police ahead of this broadcast. However, we will closely monitor the investigations and keep the nation updated on this matter. For QTV, I am Adi Darami.
Now, activists and family members of victims who died due to the acute kidney injury, which claimed the lives of 69 children in the Gambia, held a candlelight vigil on Friday at Westfield Youth Monument and made several demands, including prosecution of those responsible. Ansuman Isonyasi has more.
In somber moods, they lit up candles and prayed in silence for the 69 lives lost. Activists, family members and members of the public all gathered to demand an immediate response from government to hold accountable those responsible for what they described as a national tragedy. Activist Madi Jobate and Neda Frida Gomez were among the hundreds of people who were at the Westfield Youth Monument to pay their respects and commiserate with the bereaved family.
Children, as we say in our culture, they are angels. They are innocent completely. And what has happened is a total failure of a system that is meant to protect them. We have a whole institutional system in this country, from the Ministry of Health to the Medicines Control Agency, to the Pharmacy Council, to the public and private clinics, individual or private pharmacies and clinics, and they all have a duty to make sure the services and the products that they deliver to patients who come to those outlets are of the highest quality.
Disheartening, it is despicable, it is unheard of. For 66 young vulnerable lives just taken, I call this cold blood murder. That's what I called it, and that's the honest truth. There is no reason why we should sugarcoat it.
For Lamin C. and Omar Danso, the death of these children should never be called an accident. They believe it happened out of negligence by those entrusted to regulate the inflow and quality of medicines imported into the country. They urge government to act swiftly by banning importation of drugs from the manufacturer, among other demands. What happened is a tragedy and should be treated as a matter of urgency with all seriousness. This is a national emergency. The whole country is in mourning. The president and government should act as soon as possible, and those found wanting for letting these drugs into the country must be held accountable, prosecute them, and compensate families of the victims.
These are individuals who are so innocent, thinking that when they go to the health facilities, they will be protected. They will be provided with those healthcare services that will actually make help their well-being, but not just to murder them. We call this thing murder because we believe that our healthcare system should be developed enough so that they will be able to protect us as Gambians.
The president has since issued 2 public statements and ordered the immediate suspension of the license of the suspected pharmacy and importer, and directed the foreign minister to reach out to his Indian counterpart over the matter. The police have also revealed that a panel has been established to investigate the matter, and apparently several individuals, including the suspected pharmacy owner, the importer of the drugs, and senior officials of the Medicines Control Agency have been called in for questioning. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News.
Gambia Mental Health Organization and partners have called on government and communities to work together to fight the injustices faced by mental challenged persons. They made these remarks during the commemoration of World Mental Health Day, which falls on the 10th of October annually. Ajibintu Drame has more.
World Mental Health Day 2022 is celebrated on the theme, Make Mental Health and Well-being for All a Global Priority. The World Federation for Mental Health set aside this day to make sure that mental health is treated on a par with physical health. In the Gambia, 7 organizations that advocate for promoting awareness of mental health organized a march past from Mariama Kunda Junction to the Tanka Tanka Psychiatric Hospital. Senabu Drame, mental health service provider and volunteer at the Peace of Mind, and Lamin Baro, a staff member of Tanka Tanka, underscored the significance of the day.
It is the only mental health psychiatrist hospital in the whole country. So you cannot even begin to estimate the unavailability, the inaccessibility, the lack of care for many, many Gambians across the country.
Who feels it knows it. Some people today wore a t-shirt to come here for the first time in their life. Have you ever thought of the fact that this place do exist without the t-shirt? So I task you all to take it as a responsibility to see yourself as somebody who is not an exception of this ground.
This year's commemoration came at a time when the COVID-19 pandemic played a critical role in the lives of many, especially testing our mental health. A statement by the WHO on World Mental Health 2022 implores deepening the value and commitment we give to mental health, and for governments, communities, and stakeholders to show more commitment, engagement, and investment in mental health. Zainab Haidara, a mental health advocate, and Fatikine Kantara, a psychology lecturer at the University of the Gambia, had this to say.
We must use our voices until when they accept what they had and help us fulfill these promises. The negligence of people experiencing mental disorders should be addressed by giving much attention to every affected person and everyone at all levels.
There is a loose word out there now. Everybody is talking about psychosocial support. What is psychosocial support? Do we even know what that is? These are serious organizational things that you have to work with. It's not about having a day of awareness. It's a day of intervention.
This is Fode Jaula, Senior Mental Health Officer at the Ministry of Health, and Aissatou Seka, Founder and Executive Director of Women and Children Aid Gambia. They called on communities, particularly families, to show love to persons with mental health issues.
In the Gambia, it is estimated that the prevalence of mental health issue is almost 20% of the population. But there is a large gap between the number of people affected by mental disorder and those receiving the treatment.
But we will also appeal to the general public to not only leave this with the government because they cannot do it all. We are also part of the government. Let's support this hospital. Let's support people that are in here because they are brothers and sisters.
A green ribbon is the international symbol of mental health awareness, and is used to show care and that one stands in solidarity about mental health. The celebration was filled with heartfelt poems, local music and entertainment to create more awareness of the day and the importance of mental health. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
That story by Ajibintu Drame will lead us to a commercial break, but when we return, we have more local as well as sports news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
It is the first edition of the West African Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Exhibition WAMSME between the Gambia and Nigeria. The sub-regional event will be held at the National Trade Fair grounds around Brusubi Turntable from the 12th to 20th October 2022. Products to be exhibited are strictly made in the Gambia and Nigeria and will include foods and condiments, art and craft, pharmaceuticals, agricultural commodities, cosmetics, leather and leather products, footwear, electrical cables, garments and apparel confectionaries, spices, solid minerals, chemicals, amongst others. This platform is facilitated by the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency GAIPA, the Nigerian High Commission in the Gambia, and is proudly funded by the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, and the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC. Renowned Gambian and Nigerian artists will also perform at the fair. Come one, come all.
Wait, LG, thank you. Yup. Thanks to LG ThinkU, I can operate and get cycle updates from my AIDD front-load washing machine without even stepping foot in the laundry room. I can be busy with rehearsals on a conference call and still do my laundry, or watching series glued to my couch and too lazy to get up. My life made easy with LG ThinkU.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News. Now, residents of Igbo Town and drivers who operate in the area have called on authorities to help improve drainage and bad state of their roads. Osman G. Dabo visited the area and filed this report.
These are the road conditions in Igbo Town, a sizable community in the Kanfin municipality between Talinding and Joswang. Recently, the youth in this community mobilized resources and bought trips of gravel to repair some of the potholes in their roads to ease the traffic chaos they face. Usman Sanyang is among the youth volunteers trying to make the road usable. He explains how his community struggles to use this road.
There are many people who go to Talinding to board vehicles. They have to walk quite some distance, which is tiring. Secondly, our elderly people find it challenging to attend evening prayers at the mosque due to the bad road condition, which is full of stagnant water. They sometimes pray Isha prayers during the Maghrib prayers, just to avoid trekking to the mosque at night.
Mr. Sanyam further explains how politicians play mind games with the electorates during campaigns while not keeping their promises.
The president came here and promised to fix the roads in 2 or 3 months. Our mothers cast their votes for him, and we have not seen anything yet. When he visited the place for the second time, my nephew explained the road conditions to him, yet still nothing has been done.
The Igbo Town community shares a councillor with just one constituency. Habibu Sise, the councillor for Igbo Town Joswang Ward, urges the government to prioritize roads connected to his communities.
The government should look into the people of the Joswang Igbo Town. You know, most of the roads that were connected, I can say most of our roads are connected to Talinding Fajikunda highways, So I think, governments can concentrate on those things and build it. We have a National Road Authority. They are responsible for the roads infrastructure. So I don't think they told us that, we have to be patient, they will come up, they are also working.
The bad condition of the roads has forced drivers to abandon the place or charge double fares if they must go there. Mohammed Ndao, a taxi driver, explains why some of the drivers are avoiding plying the Igbo Town road.
We cannot go to Igbo Town because there are certain roads you do not dare to drive your vehicle through. We don't drive our vehicles on just any type of road, especially in Igbo Town. Looking at the condition of this road, if you drive through, your vehicle can be seriously damaged, and you will spend all the money you collected from passengers, which will not even cover the cost of repair.
Some residents say the road was not well built, which caused it to become dilapidated within a short space of time. They also complain that there is no proper drainage system, causing water inundation, especially during the rainy season. For QTV News, Usman G. Dabo.
Now, vendors at the Sandika Market have raised concerns about a growing waste dump in the middle of the market, which they say is upsetting for them and customers. Omi Awaba visited the market, and this is her report.
This garbage dump has been piling up at the Sandika for the past 3 weeks. The market attracts a lot of vendors and customers who come here daily. Fruits, vegetables, fabrics, herbs are among many items sold here. Yamamane, a vendor who has been in this market for over 20 years, explained how she was admitted to hospital for days due to breathing the polluted air.
Form good man saying in Yoma because of inhale Madefi, Noki Bonbe, Mama Febaro.
I didn't come to the market for the previous 4 months because of the effects of breathing polluted air that made me sick. I resumed last Monday, only to find this pile of garbage. This is not what we were promised.
Kaniture, a vendor, spoke about how the waste dump is affecting business and pleads with KMC to remove the garbage.
3 weeks mali du mu ngi fini tay ni comme num tawul ni dafa tane way su tawé ben client du taxaw jënd ndax sax ñoo dé ek suñ kaw.
The garbage has been here for 3 weeks. It is even better today because it didn't rain. When it rains, the worms come out of the garbage and crawl to where we are selling. Customers run away from us.
Kaniture added that they are not getting much help from the KMC.
KMC defuñ ben effort ta dañ wara def effort parce que dañ wara def dara. KMC dañ wara def dara.
The KMC is not making any effort. They have been giving us false promises that they will remove the garbage, but they never do so, and it is their responsibility. We pay tax every day before we start selling.
A vendor at the Sandika who wishes to remain anonymous says the Sandika market is not meant for vendors who sell seafood and vegetables, only those selling grains and fruits. She suggests that vendors not dealing in grains and fruits should be removed from the market. The Sandika market is also known for being one of the oldest markets in the Gambia. Due to its strategic location, the Sandika has become densely populated over the years, making waste management one of the biggest problems. Whatever the pros and cons, it is clear that the waste dump is growing. QTV will contact the KMC to get their reaction to the claims made by the vendors ahead of tomorrow's news broadcast. Reporting for QTV News, I am Umi Awaba.
That story by Ome will lead us to sports news. The Gambia National Olympic Committee commenced a 5-day training session on Monday of presidents and secretaries of National Sports Association in the Gambia. Our sports reporter Mamudu Gajaga was at the opening, and he now reports.
This sports administration course aims to improve sports administration and good governance in Gambian sports, and more than 20 participants are taking part. Beatrice Allen, president of the Gambia National Olympic Committee, says capacity building for those who participate in sports is important.
This course is designed to develop the capacity of leaders in sports for the delivery of ethical sports and to promote and sustain good governance in sports within the Olympic and sports movement in the Gambia. It will also assist in strengthening management in decision-making and provide best practices, especially within the Gambia NOC and its constituencies. To my colleagues and course participants, this training is one of the giant steps we have to take in order to broaden our understanding of the values of the Olympic movement. Therefore, I would advise you to take this course very seriously.
There is little representation of women in the training program. Women in sports leadership in the Gambia account for less than 10%, especially in leadership positions. Despite having many women participants in last year's training, Beatrice Allen says they will investigate women's representation in the training to ensure an improvement.
It is true that it's difficult to canvass women from national federations because they don't have them. But also, last year, we had a lot of women here that did the administration course. Once you do it, you don't have to do it again. So what we are going to do is we are going to do a little survey of those women to see what they have been doing after that course, so that we'll be able to strategize better to have women into this.
Lamin Sane, former athlete and a seasoned sports administrator, is one of the course administrators. He gave an overview of the sports administrator training.
Sport is the entity that when we use can develop peace, can promote peace and bring us together. Because its main vision is to ensure that we live in harmony and we live peacefully. So therefore, today's course is expected to build synergies, to prepare us to become more responsive in our domain as sports secretary generals in our association. Because sports need good governance, it needs universality, it needs to promote our development. And in doing so, you have to prepare well enough as secretary generals of sports institutions we have in our areas. So therefore, I have the view, after this 5 days training, all of us would have the knowledge and understanding of how to govern sports in our institutions or in our associations.
The Sports Administrator Training Program is expected to build the capacities of secretaries and presidents of national sports associations and GNOC board members to improve sports in the country. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
That's all we have for you, but before we go, a recap of our main news headlines. In response to the death of the 69 children, President Barrow has instructed the Gambia Police Force and a panel has been set up to investigate the deadly scandal linked to the Indian-made cough syrup. Activists and family members of the victims who died due to the acute kidney injury, which claimed the lives of 69 children in the Gambia, held a candlelight vigil calling for the prosecution of those responsible. Gambia Mental Health Organization and partners have called on government and communities to work together to fight the injustice faced by mentally challenged persons during the commemoration of the World Mental Health Day. Residents of Igbo Town and drivers who operate in the area have called on authorities to help improve drainage and the bad state of their roads. In sports news, the Gambia National Olympic Committee commenced a 5-day training session for presidents and secretaries of National Sports Association in the Gambia. That's all for this edition of the news. Join us at 10 p.m. for more news. Thank you.